Good evening, everyone. We are on the second day of SLF Online Meet. As you know, SLF is an acronym of Shantiniketan Literature Festival. We had the physical meet at Shantiniketan from 9th to 11th. At 12th, we kind of dispersed. So as we begin today's session, our MC for this evening is Saranya. She's a very talented person. I've known her from Batinda quite a few years back. And Renuji here is here, and some of us here who we had met then also. And other Kallol, of course. Yes, Kallol was also there. So, I'm now asking Saranya to take the stage, and I'll go away. So, Saranya, you please introduce yourself. Then you can, introduce the others, and we'll have 3 rounds. I'll quickly, 4 rounds. First round, everybody is reading the paper on Tagore, except those who are not reading. I mean, they have already said so. Round 2 is a poem by you. So 16-line poem, possibly a 2-minute. All of you may please read one poem, not two. Some of you have asked if we can do two. Please keep it to one. Okay, if we have time, then maybe we can call one of you at the end, right? Round 3 will be book release. We have a book release by Dev Dutt. Any other book release by anybody? If so, please tell. So those who are participating today, Molly's book release we'll have when we have her as a delegate. But right now, we have Devdutt's book release. That would happen in round 3. In round 3, Mr. Devdutt will talk to us. He'll introduce the book for about 5 minutes. And then, there'll be a question answer session. All of us can turn by turn ask him few things. So that will be very interesting. And round 4, we'll relax with music. And we'll have some music going on. And we have Shankar Sen. He's a very talented person. He's from Germany. Shankar is here. Yes, I can see him. And, he plays the guitar very well. He sings as well, I suppose. So Shankar would play something for us, some Rabindra Shungit, as we know. So over to Saranya. Saranya, if you can sing a line or two of any song, which reminds us of Shantiniketan, please do so, and let's begin. Over to Saranya.
In fact, I was practicing my 2 lines. That's how I intended to start.
Yeah, please do that. Please do that. Okay.
So,
Saranya.
Okay. আমি চিনি গো চিনি তোমারে ওগো বিদেশিনী আমি চিনি গো চিনি তোমারে ওগো বিদেশিনী আমি থাকি সিন্ধু পারে ওগো বিদেশিনী আমি চিনি গো চিনি তোমারে ওগো বিদেশিনী. On a beautiful note of remembering Tagore's Charulata and Sri Satyajit Ray, Kishore Kumar, and all those wonderful people who are.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dada. Who are gifts to us from the beautiful, beautiful land that is Bengal. We are here this evening, gathered as virtual delegates at the Shantiniketan Literature Festival. I'm still energized and full of love and full of joy as an after effect of having visited Shantiniketan's servant grounds, and it has been a life-changing experience for me as somebody who has grown up listening to poems from the Gitanjali and having had the privilege of teaching my students Gitanjali. I am Saranya Francis. It's my absolute joy and privilege to join you this evening as your MC. I am a humble poet in the firmament of stars that are assembled here this evening. I have had the joy of knowing a lot of you through poetry, and I would like to acknowledge the fact that most of the work that I have done for the 4 anthologies that I have released so far have been inspired by a lot of others who have been walking with me in this journey of poetry. The Shantiniketan Literature Festival, a brainchild of different truths, heralded by our own Arindam Da. One beautiful thing that we all learned at Shantiniketan is that Whether it is teachers or elders, nobody really calls them doctor, Mr., Miss, Sir, Madam. They're always Dada and Didi. And that sort of embodies the philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that the whole world is our family. May I request Smitadi and Madhudi to please go on mute. We can hear your lovely conversations in the background. Thank you very much. Okay, so I've had the absolute joy and privilege of witnessing quite a few poets share their thoughts and generously indulge young poets like me in whatever babble we would like to call poetry. So thank you so much once again for having made SLF a reality. We are looking forward to many more such editions. A quick background of the Shantiniketan Literature Festival before we continue with the online edition day 2. The Shantiniketan Literature Festival is supported by various organizations, as you can see from the literature that has gone out regarding the festival on our posters, so on and so forth. We have garnered both national and international media's attention because what was realized by the organizers and the founding members of the festival was that despite having a Nobel laureate in literature from India, we have nothing called as a Shantiniketan Literature Festival so far. And this is a pioneering effort, and this effort has definitely made a lot of people sit up and take notice of poets with vibrant voices. These voices will no longer be silenced. These voices will sing, and these voices will praise the glory of the Bard of Bengal. And we all will continue to enjoy the tranquil shades of Shantiniketan as long as the festival is able to host us. On that note, it's my great joy to welcome amidst us Dr. Devdutt, our chief guest of the evening. Dr. Devdutt, born in Bhilai, Chhattisgarh, India, has a literary journey spanning English and Malayalam. He served as chief manager at State Bank of India for 38 years and has published 22 anthologies in India and abroad. Dr. Dutt has translated his poems into Hindi, Bengali, Tamil, and Malayalam, and has been featured in various newspapers, Sunday magazines, and periodicals. He is involved with numerous literary groups in India and abroad. His poetry book, Whispers of a Logophile, was published by Authors Press in 2024. We will have the joy of releasing it with Dr. Devdutt this evening during our Round 3's book launches. We welcome you, Dr. Devdutt, amidst us, and as a part of your presence in the Shantiniketan Literature Festival, I now invite you to speak to us. Your topic is on the essays of Gurudev Stri Shiksha. It is about the concern for women's education and their liberation. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sharanya. Thank you, Arindam Roy, sir. Yeah, I'm very much delighted to associate myself for the first time with Shantiniketan Literature Festival. Am I audible? And I am very much happy also to speak of the writings of Gurudev. It's a great honor for me to speak on Gurudev. From the bottom of my heart, I am thankful to Arindam ji and the entire team for giving this opportunity. From my childhood, worship for Gurudev was born in me by hearing of national anthem. And I hope every child of Bharat is having experienced the same. Even today, I have goosebumps whenever I hear our national anthem. At any place, at any cinema hall, anywhere, even on TV and all that, automatically I stand up. Everybody is a respect. It comes, means that much powerful is there in that words, that time and all that. And Gurudev was a great soul who took avatar or visited this planet to enlighten human minds with his innumerable poems, poems, and stories. I really feel proud that I have the common day of birth as of Gurudev, though more than a century after I was born. Today I am going to speak on one of the essays of Gurudev, Stri Siksha is almost a century-old essay, but still relevant for woman liberation and independence. For Gurudev, Stri Siksha was a revolutionary movement to give women her deserved status in the society through education. My views may be a drop from the ocean of literature which Gurudev has given to the world. Gurudev was much concerned about women empowerment and their liberation. He always argued for their independence through his letters, essays, short stories, etc. This essay was first published in a journal from Bengal named Sabuj Patra and was translated in English in August 2015. First, I would like to have a brief of Gurudev's determining role in the liberation of women, and he argued for their independence. Through his novels, he was able to construct new role models to motivate new generation Bengali women, which was mostly read and translated to almost all languages in India. And these stories were very much popular through movies, TV serials, and the same could reach every household population in our country. Later, by his act of admitting females into Shantiniketan ashram, through which he became a pioneer in education, pioneer in co-education, his longest novel, Gora, written in 1880 during British era, which is of two love stories of two couples, Gora and Suchitra and Binoy and Lolita. This story is set in the background of then social and political problem prevailed in India. In the novel, it can be seen the process of taking shape of the identities and personal autonomy they develop through the ways of their interaction with the society. His basic motive was to make aware the women folk of their rights and to show that they are not less than any man. In this essay, Stri Siksha, a topic of discussion starts with a letter received by a woman named Srimati Leela Mitra in some high office in Kolkata. The background is that she reads the content of the letter. I would like to highlight a few lines of the same. One group of people say that there is no need for women's education because if women are educated, men face several difficulties in different matters. In that letter 6, an educated wife does not consider her husband as God, Pati Bhagavan, something like that. Such educated women will not be able to devote themselves to the service of the husband, for they remain busy in studies. So this was the one view of a group of people. In this paragraph of the letter, Gurudev is indirectly highlighting the tyranny of manhood which prevailed at that time, still has, not allowed the freedom for women, nor considered them as equals. In the second stanza of the letter, again another group opines that women's education is very much necessary because we men are educated, and if the women with whom we engage in running our household do not share our feelings, thoughts, hopes, and desires, then our familial happiness will be at stake. Here, Gurudev is very positive for the men's outlook for women, giving them equal status. In the next stanza of the letter, it says both the groups are judging Stri Siksha from their own perspective. That a woman has a personality of her own, that she is not created for others, that is significance of her own life. It is surprising that no one speaks of the group who has the best interest in the disposal of the case. Gurudev has put in a dilemma that to judge both the groups. Again, Gurudev is highlighting education for woman beautifully in this next paragraph. If education is the way to become human, and if access into education is the birthright of every human being, then it is difficult to understand by the use of which ethics can women be deprived of their rights. And Gurudev speaks, those men and women who are prepared equally in providing education do not fall in the line of ordinary men. Their seat is much more elevated as in the modern society, now we can see that both women, men are all are educated, and his dream has been fulfilled almost. So Gurudev is in the opening to leave them out of this discussion. Gurudev adds, those who believe that women have been created for them, their hopes for women's development with minimal education, such that they assign for their wives, is irrational. The model that men have developed for women's education is the model to cast a doll suitable for play. So here again, these lines are very powerful, in which Gurudev is expressing his anguish on the outlook of some men towards women. Those men want women to be a doll, so that according to the men's wishes, she should dance or play or act like that. In the last paragraph, Gurudev is giving a strong, powerful message to women folks. The woman who engages in such action must not be like an ordinary conventional woman. She must not make other people's idea of happiness as her ideal. Gurudev strongly emphasizes in this line that she must remember that bearing a child in her womb is not the achievement that defines her. Right? That is not the ultimate aim, as he says. Gurudev wants to open the eyes of deprived woman. She is not merely a naive, bashful creature who is dependent on men. She is his support in crisis, his partner to profound thoughts, and a true companion in happiness and despair, being co-explorer of the path of life. I think it's almost a century-old writing, and how much it is relevant in these days also. Because by these writings, hopefully, the woman at that period in our country might have got the confidence in facing the society. Further in the essay, Gurudev says that there should be no difference between the education to women and men. Then that is a disregard to the God. God is not willing that men only should be educated, or women should not be educated. Both should be equally must go, sharing their lifestyle, life and all that. That understanding should be there, as he emphasizes. So thank you, Sharanya. That's it. That's it of Gurudev. I am very much privileged.
Thanks a lot, Devdutt. Wonderful, wonderful paper. Saranya, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Dutt. While you were speaking about the way that Gurudev elaborates on Stri Shiksha in his essay, I was reminded of what I was teaching my students a couple of days ago, and continued in today's class as well. Virginia Woolf, in her essay Professions for Women, talks about this need to break that mold, or that stereotype that we have of women being represented a certain way. And she was still writing about women who need a view and need some money and need to be need to have money of their own and have their own perspective through the window, so on and so forth. And what a joy to also hear you elaborate upon the fact that in his essay Sri Shiksha, Gurudev speaks about this very aspect of women having that unique perspective, of having that perspective towards the world around them, and bringing to the foray the visionary that Gurudev was. And all his stories, I mean, although he does depict women in their actual plight during the time that his stories were written, none of his women were mute. None of his women were the Abla Nari, so to speak, that or nobody is there just for feminine relief. They are there as strong characters present to elaborate upon various aspects. Dada, if you remember, in Professor Sen's discussion with us at the SLF Physical Festival, he spoke about this.
That's true.
And he spoke about how Gurudev was inclusive, not just in terms of the space that Vishwa Bharati was, but also his ability to make it inclusive for human beings when he wrote. So I think that is very well brought out by Dr. Dutt's elucidation. Thank you so much, sir. It was an absolute joy listening to you. It's now time for us to travel a little bit towards the European side of the globe and say welcome to Professor Shankhu Sen, our guest of honor. Professor Shankhu Sen is the Rex Karamveer Global Fellowship and Karamveer Chakra Award recipient for 2023-24 and the Panorama International Literature Award recipient of 2022. A multifaceted individual, writing and music are his hobbies. He was invited as a guest of honor in the Global Vision Summit 2024 in Athens, Greece 2024. He was awarded the Certificate of Excellence from Writers Capital International Foundation, Italy, and Biennial of Hagiography and Hymnography in 2023. His visionary outlook led him to be honored as the ambassador for New York Parrot, USA. I've had the unique joy of reading Sri Sen's work online, both on the Panorama Facebook page as well as his blog. Dr. Gopal Lahiri has also, introduced some of his works online to us poets across the globe. Professor Sen, we are so happy to have you amidst us this evening. I invite you to elaborate on your paper, which is Tagore as I See. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. One small correction, I am not yet a professor, so yet to become a professor. I am basically an electrical engineer by profession, working in corporate sector in Germany, staying here for last 21 years. And literature and music is my passion, my hobby. And thanks a lot for the very kind introduction. I'm also privileged to be here. It's a great platform. And I also consider my kind of teacher, Mr. Arindam Roy. And thanks a lot for having me here also. He has guided me very well. And we have a strong bonding because of language anyway. But from that, our liking for Tagore has also brought us here in this platform. I would like to start with a translation of my own writing of my recent book, Destination Eternity. Unfortunately, the book is published in Calcutta. I just have the cover of the book here. So I have written in 3 languages, English, Bengali, and German language. So in German language, I have written this kind of prose, wherein I thought like it's my duty to bring Tagore to the German audience. And with all your blessings and with the blessings of my parents and God, I've been able to have quite a good amount of fan following in Germany, Europe, and due to my music and literature as well. So I felt the need to bring Tagore to German readers. And for that, I feel myself privileged to do that and show what Tagore was and bring forth this essay. So this exactly would be a translation of my own writing in German. So I would kind of touch on the key points of my writing. So it goes like this. When Einstein talked about the external universe, Tagore talked about the universe with our spirit and consciousness. When I came across his writings, I had the feelings that not only his imagination was spectacular, but also his choice of different emotions was extraordinary. Growing up, I loved his writing even more. I'm basically an engineer. Math and logic filled my head, but somehow his writings changed my perspectives on my surroundings, opened up a different dimension, and I could fit into it very easily. But when I read his text, I have the feelings that real education has nothing to do with academic success. It has more to do with the education of our soul and spirit. To judge between right and wrong, we need to train our moral awareness. We know that happiness is a very difficult and also a very easy thing. But if we adapt life to changing circumstances, we can remain happy very easily. I like the aspect of him who perceived the concept of human universe and human philosophy, literature and science associated with an infinite human personality. For him, education was enlightenment of mind and soul. Life is short and no one is immortal, but people like Tagore are in our minds forever. We take a lot from our society. I think we should also give something back to it, if not everything. So came the energy to do something creative in literature and music. A final aspect of Tagore in my life is that even though I haven't seen him, his presence in my life not only gave me courage and mental strength, but also helped all kind of situations. That's why I have had him my virtual guru all my life. So it's a small pranam to you, Gurudev. Your life has changed my life. So wherever you are, take my pranam and hoping to get your blessings even more. Thank you.
Very nice, Shanko. Thanks a lot. Saranya, over to you.
Shankara, thank you so much. When you were speaking about the mingling of universes and telling us about Einstein's thoughts, I was reminded of us visiting the Shanti Griha at Shantiniketan during our brief hiatus away from the main festival. We took our chance to go around and see, and Dr. Molly Joseph was there. I was there, and a couple of us, Sahinadi and Madhudi, all of us were there, and we got to see the place where Einstein and Mahatma Gandhi and Subhash Chandra Bose were felicitated by Vishwabharati, and that stage on which they were felicitated. And Dr. Roy, who was taking us around the place, he spoke about, Dr. Gangopadhyay, who took us, Arindam Da, was he Dr. Bandopadhyay or Gangopadhyay? I forget his second name. Our Hindi department, head of the department, who was there.
He was Subhash Chandra Roy. Subhash Chandra Roy.
Sorry. Yeah, so I was right, Dr. Roy. So when he took us around, he was explaining to us the significance of each of these places, and he said something that reflected your thoughts, saying that some of these people who were so strongly influenced by Tagore have never seen Tagore, but the presence of Tagore lingers around this space. And when he showed us that sabha, that stage which is set up in red, in red color, bright red hues, he said that Tagore's presence lingers on, and whether you like it or not, Tagore is observing each one of you who is here claiming to be a poet, and he will keenly listen to your words, and if you do utter something that displeases the spirit of this oneness, this global unity that he dreamt of, you never know, maybe he would come back in your dreams and reprimand you. So that was the spirit that place held, and I so remember all of us very enthusiastically standing around the place and taking pictures and getting excited about him. So I'm sure he receives your pranam with great joy, much like the patron, the elder of a family, receives a newborn who is coming and doing the Shashtange pranam at the feet. And I'm sure that the yeoman service that you're rendering to bring Gurudev Tagore's work to the world, especially to the European world, I'm sure that in itself is a garland of respect that you're bestowing upon Tagore and his rich legacy that has inspired you. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Sen, for your beautiful words and your lofty thoughts. We now move on to Dr. Renu Gupta, our next guest of honor for this evening. Dr. Renu Gupta is a professor in the School of Liberal Arts, GNA University, Phagwara, India. She loves to read, write, laze around and explore poetry. She is keen to pursue and understand and also is is extremely comfortable speaking about women, cultural studies, and immigrant studies. With 25 research articles, several book reviews, and endless list of poems in journals and anthologies of repute, she has participated in more than 50 conferences and seminars. She has made her presence felt in workshops and poetry meets in India and abroad. She's associated with fantastic literary platforms like LWG, International Academic for Ethics, Antarashtriya Mahila Kavya Manch, and Litspark. I've also had the great privilege of sharing a couple of chais in Bhatinda along with Dr. Renu, where we I remember the table where we sat on. We had Lily Swarn on one side, Renudi on one side, me in the center, and we had a couple of others who were sitting around, and we were talking about how we are all there, and we were really loud, and we were really having our discussion in a jackan manner, and then suddenly Hitendra, I don't know if you remember Hitendra from Rajasthan, he said, "Arey yaar, aap log itne जोर जोर से क्या बोल रहे हो?" And then Dr. Renu immediately said, "Don't silence our voices. We are loud voices and we would like them heard." And our voices are not just loud, Dr. Renu. I think our voices are prominent. And this prominence that you embody is also casting a few, beneficial, positive shadows on young poets like us. And we are so happy that you're amidst us this evening. I invite you now to present your paper on contemporaneity of Tagore's fictional work with reference to his short stories, which are a treasure trove of literary genius itself. Over to you, Deep.
Thank you, Saranya, for your lovely words and fond memories. So you have, brought all the memories to my mind. Thank you. Love you so much, dear. So my koti naman to Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore, whose spirit, humanism, philosophy, and contribution to the world of culture, art, and literature, and education, we are celebrating through the Shantiniketan Literature Festival. My loving namaste to my fellow friends with whom I am sharing the virtual stage and our online audience. I also express my gratitude to Different Truths, Mr. Arindam Roy, Mrs. Anumita Roy, and their organizing team for giving me this honor. Friends, before I share my observations on the contemporaneity of Tagore's short story, I express my regret for not knowing Bengali language and so reading Tagore's works only through English translation. So naturally, there will be limitations. So when we talk about contemporaneity, this means the quality of being current or relevant to the contemporary times. And Tagore's short stories are undoubtedly contemporary because of the portrayal of the inner lives of their characters. Tagore's short stories are a rare combination of psychological probings and scenic details, cultural particularity, and universal humanity. What mesmerizes me most about his stories is the portrayal of human mind with its longing for love and company. Almost all of his protagonists in his stories bear the pangs of loneliness and vacuum within and yearn for love and company. And dear friends, living in the global world today, this is the experience of, I think, most of us at one time or the other. We might have conquered time and space, and we might have many means of comfort and luxury, but we have not been able to conquer the loneliness, the void within. And it is the portrayal of these recesses of human mind that makes Tagore's stories contemporary. He portrays his characters in a particular situation and wiles his pen to express their thoughts and feelings. Just imagine, writing his first story at the tender age of 16, his stories, numbering about 100, trace a curve through his early, middle, and mature phase as a writer. For the purpose of illustration, I have picked up a few stories that most of the non-Bengali speaking fellows like me might have read at one or the other time. These stories lay bare the yearning hearts, not only of men, women, and children, but of the differently abled as well. Who cannot connect with the postmaster? Oh, if only some kindred soul were near, just one loving human being whom I could hold near my heart. The protagonist, the postmaster, hailing from the big city of Kolkata, feels isolation in the far-flung village of Ulapur. There is an orphan girl, Ratan, equally lonely, who helps him with household work, and the story narrates beautifully the bond between these two. It is another matter that the postmaster leaves for his hometown, and the Ratan is again alone. Then there is Mashi, we call it Masi in Punjabi, revolving round a young widow, a fun-loving little girl Mani, and her husband Jotin. The ailing Jotin longs to have the company of his wife, who always avoids him. Tagore comments, he knew too well that he had never been able to have an intimate talk with money. The two instruments were tuned differently, and it was not easy to play them in unison. So who could, have said these words? Then there is the feeling of isolation of the fun frolicking and fun-loving Mani also, because, she cannot equate with her husband. She says, I don't do anything for him, and I couldn't if I tried. It is so deadly dull in this house that I tell you frankly, I can't bear it. So trying to act as a bridge between Jotin and Mani, Mashi's tearful loneliness becomes all the more touching and poignant, because within her heart, she's always aware of the loneliness, the void which she has been facing since her widowhood. Similarly, the story Holiday lays bare the inner self of a boy of 14, Fatik Chakrabarti, who is often beaten by his widowed mother and is taken to a city by his uncle to educate him. But Fatik has no interest in education. He yearns for, the company of naughty boys whom he had in his, village. He feels lonely and misses even the beatings of his mother. And Tagore lays bare the situation of a teenager, and every teenager, I think, and the parents of teenager also can, equate with what, Tagore says. There is no greater nuisance in the world than a boy of 13 or 14. He arouses no affection. If he speaks modestly, he sounds false. If he speaks sense, he sounds arrogant. If he speaks at all, he is felt to be intrusive. Many faults can be forgiven in a child or a young man, but at this age, even natural and unavoidable faults are felt to be unbearable. So I think that teens today can also, associate themselves with the situation. Then there is Subha, revolving around Subha Lakshmi, the youngest of the 3 girls of a family in a small village. Subha happens to be dumb by birth, and this lack of her makes her feel lonely and neglected even by her own family and the people around. Her own mother regarded her with aversion as a stain upon her own body. And so Subha tries to keep herself away from public, giving silent company to Pratap, who also cherishes her company because she remains silent. And when he's fishing, so he wants a companion who just is there to give him company. And in her loneliness, she forges bond with the stream, the cows, the nature, and the Mother Earth. And the end of the story is very poignant. There, she implores to the Mother Earth not to, leave her. Who can forget the beautiful story of Kabuliwala penetrating into the mind of Rehmat, the fruit seller from Kabul? And this story becomes all the more appealing and I think understandable because most of us has watched the movie Kabuliwala as well, and Balraj Sahni really portrayed that role very well. Rehmat, the fruit seller from Kabul, longs for his family, particularly his own daughter, whom he has left with his wife in the country of Kabul to make a living in the distant country. And, friends, this, reminds me of the present-day parents as well as their siblings who, live in distant countries because of many, reasons, maybe forced reasons, or maybe some other reasons of their choice. Seeing the image of his daughter in Minnie, who is very talkative, he develops a close bond with her, despite that Minnie's parents don't like. They doubt his integrity, they doubt his intentions. However, it is really touching to see when the narrator, Minnie's father, he comes to understand his heart, his feelings, his love, and connect with the, filial love which he has for his daughter, right? And it is the wedding of Minnie, and Kabuliwala is released from a jail, and he wants to meet Minnie. And when he comes to the home, it's all decked up, and he still, imagines that Minnie must be that small girl, but Minnie is decked as a bride. And Minnie's father doesn't want, Rehmat to come. But then, with the turn of events, he happens to see a small piece of crumpled paper with the imprint of the small palm of a child on it. So the narrator now, who has earlier been doubting, Rehmat's intentions, now sees his pure love for Minnie, and the story is very relevant to the contemporary times, as I have, mentioned earlier. Also, there are other stories also, but given the limitations of time, I will come to the conclusion. To conclude, it can be said that emotions, feelings of loneliness and alienation, and yearnings for love and company are beyond the barriers of time and space. And when they are expressed through the pen of Rabindranath Tagore, they are bound to have universal appeal and contemporaneity. I conclude with Tagore's own words. He said in some context, all the great glories of man are mine. I, just, take the liberty of making a little bit change. So almost all his stories, all his characters, they reflect an element of mine. They reflect an element of all of us. And I must admit that I have been only, able to touch just a small tip of the big iceberg of the creative works of Tagore. Thanks, dear friends.
Thank you. Excellent, Renuji,
Thank you.
for connecting Tagore in the contemporary time. Saranya, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Renu Gupta. I was reminded, as you spoke about loneliness and void within, I was reminded of a story that people don't generally associate with loneliness and void. In fact, it's one of those humorous tales of Tagore which holds a poignant message within it. Wrong Man in Workers' Paradise. A lot of us academicians are very familiar with the story because we tend to use this story as as a precursor to teaching a lot of lessons to our students. And in loneliness, in Wrong Man in Workers' Paradise, we see the we see the wrong man in a place where people find working as paradise. And when this young girl gets attracted to him because of his wayward nature, this comparison and contrast that you spoke about in the lives of in the life of the widow and uh, life of the man, you spoke about how there is a contrast between what they feel within, the void they feel within, and the loneliness that is outside. And I think the Wrong Man in Workers' Paradise sort of embodies that entire concept of this guy feeling so left out and lonely in this place which is full of others. Here's a person who loves being with people, loves doing things, and loves lazing around, and being there in the pastoral beauty of the space. And suddenly he's expected to be busy and work, and there can be no greater hell for a person like him than to be in a place like that. And this girl realizes that somebody who generally carries water is now interested in decorating the pot and having those patterns in her hand and things like that. And one is forced to think about how Tagore is able to capture this. How is he able to capture the innermost thoughts and feelings of men and women so well? Poignant is the right word that you used, so poignantly. Thank you so much for reminding us about the contemporarity of that whole logic of young people today, being able to associate with what Tagore wrote back then. Uh, on that note, it's my absolute joy now to move on to our next speaker of the evening. We have amidst us our next guest of honor, Dr. Sridharan Parakod. Sridharan is honored with an honorary doctorate for his work. He is a bilingual poet, writes both in Malayalam and English. He has 30 books of poems to his credit. In addition, he has penned songs for professional dramas and animation films. His books of poems include Weeping Womb, Slum Flowers, Mahatma Gandhi, Don't Mum Please, so on and so forth. He's recited poetry not just in India, but also in different parts of Serbia, in Taiwan and China. His awards include Sahitya Shri, Sahitya Shiromani, Shane Adab, etc. And his honorary doctorate points out to the fact that he's not just somebody who is acknowledged for his poetry, he's also acknowledged for the personality that he brings to the work that he has written. I've had the privilege of reading one or two of his works online, but I haven't had a chance to associate with him much. So this will be a great opportunity for me to listen to you as well, sir. Welcome to Shantiniketan Literature Festival. Over to you to present your paper, Rabindranath Tagore and his Paperboards Poems, where he will depict the narrative style and skill of the Bard of Bengal. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for the opportunity I am given. So, the two things I have to mention now is that when a literary festival was conducted in Hyderabad, Aridhamji was there and he presented the paper very well in a conclusive, in a good manner that I still remember. And the loss is that I could not attend the Shantiniketan festival physically because I have some things are there. So when night comes, I bury my face in my arms and dream that my paper boards float on and on under the midnight stars. This is a These are the words of an innocent child. Innocent child, he writes in paper boards. That how can we say that a child can say like this? Because his mind is full of innocence. So it is so vibrant, his mind is so. And becoming a child is not quite easy. But he has some potential to become a child. That's why I got some ideas from words, his words and his writings. That I don't know whether it is relevant now or that. ഇലയൊരു നാൾ വിരുന്നു പോയി ഇലയൊരു നാൾ വിരുന്നു പോയി ചെറുതാമുറുമ്പി in Malayalam. ഇലയൊരു നാൾ വിരുന്നു പോയി ചെറുതാമുറുമ്പിനൊപ്പം കുറച്ചു ദൂരം ചെന്നപ്പോൾ പെട്ടെന്നു മഴ വന്നു എറുമ്പിനുള്ളം വിറച്ചുപോയി തണുത്ത പരുങ്ങലായി അതു കണ്ടിട്ടിലയപ്പോൾ എറുമ്പിൻ കണ്ണീർ തുടച്ചു ചൊല്ലി പനി വരില്ലേ മഴ നനഞ്ഞാൽ ഉടയാകാം ഞാൻ നിനക്കായി ഉടയാകാം ഞാൻ I'll be your shelter and I will be a safe abode for you. And that's why paperboard says that day by day I float my paperboards one by one down the running stream. He says that, boy says, I hope that someone in some strange land will find them and know who I am. And some people from the strange land, I don't know whether they know me, but I hope that, I imagine that vibrant imagination is there. Know that some strange land will find them and know who am I, who I am. And the boy says that, the child says that, I load my little boats with the showy flowers from our garden and hope that these blooms of the dawn will be carried safely to land in the night. In night, paper boats will flow, and from one place to another place, it will move. And there will be some strange persons, and they know me because I write my name on that board in black letters, and the name of my village too I write. And that people, that strange man can understand who is the person who writes it and which is the village. And he says, I launch my paper boats and look up into the sky and see the little clouds setting the white bulging sails. At the very same time, when he floats his paper boats, he sees someone there. What playmate? Which is one of my friends will be there, and he will set some clouds to compete with me, And I know what playmate of mine in the sky sends the down there to race with my boats, The boy thinks that. So my paper boats float and on under the midnight stars. Under the midnight stars, my paper boats will flow. But the fairies of sleep are sailing in them, and the lading is their baskets full of dreams. That imagination, some vibrant imagination, that strong imagination. And we can say that it is so. And paperboard says that childhood innocence, high quality imagination. And in the sky, the boy sees the little clouds setting their white bulging sails. And he says that, and the playfulness of a child is clearly depicted in it. And what can we say that paperboard written by Gurudev tells of the childhood and the innocent one has during their childhood days. It describes the playfulness of a child. The child floats paperboards down the stream and thinks that there is another child sending boards as clouds to compete with the verse. And he says so. And I cannot say for sure that whether I can elaborate it. No, time is yes. So I think, and he thinks, the boy thinks, the child thinks that somebody will be there to compete with my race, my board. In night, the child buries his face in the night underneath the stars. And love and wish is clearly said in it. And though a humanitarian, and his educational concept is that a holistic approach towards education and environment, humanitarian, and unknown place and unknown people are also introduced. So the first non-European writer to be awarded the first non-European to get the award of Nobel Prize in 1913, I think. So, and what I can say more in this regard, that a child's plays, children's literature, and his narration, his depiction is very vast and meaningful. At the very same time, Gurudev is ever remembering, because we are in a mode to see his picture, because he's in us. His God, his concept of God is divine, because he sees everything, universality or internationalism. He preserves that idea, internationalism. And Vasudeva Kudumba means every yeah, one family is there in this world, and we can say. And I cannot say for sure that whether I stop now or
Thank you very much, Sridharanji. Thank you. Very lovely presentation. Over to you, Saranya.
Thank you, sir, for reminding us about the place, the special place that Tagore holds in children's literature. What really struck my mind is the unique style of poetry recitation in Malayalam. It always has that music to it. And poetry is not just read in Malayalam, it is sung in Malayalam most of the times. And that uniqueness that you brought out right at the beginning when you were talking about the paper boats and speaking about the rain and the rain getting filled in the thing, it reminded me of a very recent Malayalam song where the protagonist goes, Marayiloru Pura, Purayiloru Mara, Marayiloru Purayiloru Marayiloru Pura. So he's talking about how the drop is in the, the drop is in the puddle and the puddle is in the drop, and the rain gets contained in that drop itself. So much so that the paper boats do the same thing to us. We are contained in the paper boat, and the paper boat is contained in us. And Tagore sort of reminds us of this universality. And his musicality is also a unique aspect of Tagore's poems, that one can easily sing Tagore's poems. One can easily set it to music. We saw that displayed in full glory when our ball singers sang at the Shantiniketan Literature Festival's Prelude Day, when they sort of we sort of danced to the joy of music, the joy of poetry, and how they reminded us of the madness in the passion that poetry holds. Thank you so much for reminding us of the innocence and the beauty that pervades in the poetry of Tagore. On that note, we move on to our next poet. We have Mahua Sen amidst us. She's the recipient of the Royal International Poetry Award. She is also the author of the Amazon bestseller for Asian literature, Nostalgia Crafting a Home Within, Red River. Her works have been widely published and very well accepted and appreciated by poets across the world. She has also edited a few poetry anthologies and is currently working on 2 translation projects slated to be published by the beginning of 2025. We wish her all the best for her new works. She has also worked with organizations like the Hindustan Times, Standard Chartered GE Money before she joined Bullseye Outsourcing as the regional director. Ms. Mahua Sen is somebody who is no stranger to the fraternity that is gathered here this evening, because we have read her both offline and online. And we are so happy, Mahua, that you're here with us this evening to speak about Tagore's portrayal of and the liberation of women, citing examples of his short stories again, which is relevant even to this day. She will also be elaborating on the idea of women's emancipation that was well ahead of time in Tagore's work, and talk about how he challenged the traditional view of women as the weaker or the fairer sex through his works. Over to you, Mahua.
Thank you so very much for that beautiful and warm introduction. Thank you so much. Glad to be a part of Shantiniketan Litfest, albeit virtually. And my profound thanks to Arindam sir and his incredible team. And special thanks to Sharanya for hosting this session so beautifully, really. And first of all, the disclaimer, I do not have a paper ready to, read in front of you. However, I'm deeply inspired by Tagore's representation of women. And I would like to talk about that through his stories that affected me, intensely. And I have written several poems on his women protagonists. Those who are there on my, list, Facebook friend list would know that I keep writing about, Rabindranath's women protagonist. Shantiniketan is a living testament of, Rabindranath's philosophy. And Rabindranath is an emotion. He is an integral part of our lives, as Sharanya very rightly pointed out. We grew up listening to and singing Rabindra Sangeet. In fact, before I could, talk clearly, I was taught Amra Shabai Raja Amaderi Raja Rajatte, which roughly translates into we are all kings in the kingdom of our king. So, his works enlighten the world with its beauty and wisdom. His poetry, writing, music, philosophy broadens our perspective of what it is to be human. His emphasis on humanism, universalism, interconnectedness of culture, so to say, continues to inspire people across the globe. And we know that literature plays a very important role in, mirroring the workings of society. And as a conscious socialist, Tagore exposed all the issues and evil practices of 19th century India through his writings. And he was very vocal about the predicament of women. And the women protagonists in his stories were empowered, who fought for equal status amongst the throes of 19th century patriarchy. Almost all his female characters had a very strong resolve. They talked about individuality, they talked about liberty, they talked about freedom, justice, power, and often they would challenge patriarchy and talk about practices which are considered taboo even today, I would say. And his idea of women's emancipation was, of course, much ahead of his time. And as a result, one of his most significant contributions to society is the portrayal of women in his art, which is, as I said, relevant even to this day. And now coming to his representation of women, first woman that comes to my mind is Binodini, because I know all of us have read Chokher Bali. And the story, Chokher Bali's protagonist, Binodini, is a widow. She has totally ditched societal, norms, traditional setups, etc. for widows. And she's not ready to leave her identity as a woman and even her desires of love. And Tagore has portrayed Binodini as a beauty with brains, and she has to struggle with her own passion and unfulfilled love as she kind of, sways between Bihari and Mohendro. And another female character that we see in the story is Damini, if you remember. And she ignores societal norms and conventions, and she prepares a life with her new husband. So I think Tagore, through this story, wanted to reform the condition of widows by giving them equal voice, equal choice, right? And then we can talk about Mrinal from Street Potro. I was really mesmerized when I read the story. A wife's letter, Street Potro. And Mrinal is a woman who is married into a zamindar household. And she has been portrayed as an intelligent and a very sharp woman who feels kind of stuck, in her domestic life after marriage. And her intelligence seems to be as a flaw, and her beauty is the only thing that people talk about, right? So later in the story, we find that she's introduced to Bindu, the widowed cousin of Minal's sister-in-law, who unfortunately commits suicide. And after that, Mrinal becomes completely disillusioned with the idea of family and marriage. And she writes a letter to her husband explaining her decision to leave him in order to finally, seek her emancipation. So through this story again, we see that Tagore emphasizes on importance of education. A woman who is educated has an agency, right? She has a voice. She can live life without being dependent on a man counterpart. She doesn't need to be subjugated and crushed in a male-dominated world. So all these things, and then we can talk about Mrinmoy from Shamapti. She's one of my very favorite characters. So she's young, fun-loving, and she enjoys her freedom. And everything changes for her when she's married off to a very wealthy and educated man. And one day, on the day of wedding only, I guess, yes, Mrinmoy confronts her husband and asks her the lack of choice and decision to get married, and then refuses to reciprocate his feelings. She wants to live her life on her terms. And she asks very pertinent questions. She asks that why is it that a girl who is the one who has to kind of make all the adjustments before marriage and even after marriage. And I think this is a question that many of us ponder over even to this day after 100 years, right? So and then we have Giribala from Manbhanjan. Giribala is the protagonist who is trapped in a loveless marriage with a very wealthy zamindar. We can relate her character to Charulata from Noshtonir. And later she finds out that her husband loves a theater actress and plans to leave her. And while spying on her husband, Giribala is introduced to the world of theater and finds her calling there. And after her husband leaves her, unlike many others, she's not vulnerable. She's not shattered, She kind of reinvents herself and pursues a successful career as a theater actress. So I think through Giribala's story again, Tagore highlights how women can find success in whatever field they choose, like Giribala found her calling in theater, defying traditions, defying society, and so on. So I can go on, but then I know we have limited time. So yes, Tagore's female characters were real. They were feisty, they were brazen, they were like the metaphorical phoenix reborn from the ashes. And they were not mere artifacts and ornaments in a man's life, so to say. They kind of, demanded to be treated and respected as human beings. They claim their sovereign identity. And I would like to end it with what Tagore himself had said, and I would quote. He said that women are not only the deities of the household fire, but the flame of the soul itself. So yes, on this note, I would pause. Thank you.
Excellent, Mahua.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Saranya, over to you.
Thank you, Mahua, for, I was really taken when you said that Tagore's women remind us of what it is to be human, right? Because often, more often than not, when we talk about women characters, we somehow look at them as the other. This process of othering them has been something that has been the bane of our gaze of women who are portrayed in various works. And the fact that you rightly started off saying that he sort of reminds us of what it is to be human. These women remind us of what it is to be human, and also the fact that you so beautifully brought out how these women are capable of interspersing joy and music in their lives, despite the things that try to muffle their voice.
Yes.
And this music and this poetry and this joy is exposed, no matter how hard the world around them tries to muffle it. So this sort of struck me the most. Thank you so much for that exposition of those characters. We will remember what it is to be human every time we read those women characters again and again. On that note, we move on to our next poet in line, which is Kusturika Mishra. Do we have her on the meeting?
Yeah, we have her. Kasturika, please unmute yourself. Hello, Kasturika, can you hear us? Hello, Kasturika, can you hear us?
Dada, both her video and audio are off.
Can any of us call her once?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. Just a minute.
In the meantime, should I move on with I move on with our next poet, Dada? We will move on to the next poet.
Hello.
So that
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, Kasturika, she's here. Okay, fine.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello,
Okay.
everybody.
Please wait. Please wait. You are being introduced. Please wait. Please wait.
Yes. We just want to check if you're online before introducing you, ma'am. So we have with us Kasturika Mishra. She's a multilingual poet of India and an excellent ghazal singer. She's an author of 2 poetry collections, namely Metamorphosis and Mausam Ishq Ka Hai. She will be participating in round 2 only. But in round 1, we have requested her to recite 2 translated poems from Gitanjali in Odia and give a short context in English to these poems. The Odia translation is done by Sri Antaryami Mishra, a poet and lyricist from Odisha. This is her poetic presentation on Tagore. Over to you, Kasturika ji.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much to Arindamda and the team supporting him and all my co-writers and poets here. I'm so privileged to be part of this festival, and I'm also privileged in a way that Sri Antarjami Mishra, who has taken all the pain to translate Gitanjali in his own right. He's 80-year-old and he is now joined us in this meeting as well. And I am really indebted that we are able to add him to this meeting. These 2 poems which he has translated are basically on the theme of love, which no one in this centuries, over the centuries, have depicted so well as Tagore. And I have had the fortune to read and recite many Rabindra Sangits on other platforms. And while doing the research, I have encountered what lovely emotions that this man has given us to all the poets to cherish and get inspired every day to write. The first poem is as a dialogue between the lovers who are trying to meet on a boat on the sea. And he's saying that we, my love, have promised to each other that we will sail together in a boat on the serene and romantic ocean. And we will share the language of love and recreate and watch the streaming birds on the blue sky, the silvery sunset, and the pining that we have for each other will share in the darkness that will follow us on the boat. So the poem goes like this. Kotha kotha thila eko nokare tume mu basi. Kotha thila eko nokare tume mu basi. Jiva নিমিতিত ভাসি ভাসি কথা থিলা এক নৌকারে তুমে মু বসি ত্রিভুবনে কেহি জানি পারিবেনি কেউঠু আসিছু কেউ আড়ে ଯିବୁ ଅଜଣା ମୂଲକ ବାସି କଥା ଥିଲା ଏକ ନୌକାରେ ତୁମେ ମୁଁ ବସି କୂଳହରା ସେଇ ପାରାବାର ଗନେ শুনাইবি গীত একান্তে তুমরি কানে ঢেউ পরি মোর ভাষা বন্ধন হরা মোর সেরা গিণী শুনিব নীরবে হাসি কথা ଥିଲା ଏକ ନୌକାରେ ତୁମେ ମୁଁ ବସି ଯିବା ଅକାରଣେ ଏମିତି ତ ଭାସି ଭାସି ଆଜି କି ତାରା ହୋଇନି ବେଳ কর্ম কি বাকি এই দেখো গো দূরে সন্ধ্যা নইছি সাগরর তীরে স্তিমিত আলোকে পক্ষ মেলি সাগর পারির পক্ষী দেখ সভিয়ে নিড়ে আসন্তি ফেরি ফেরি কেবে গো তুমে আসিব ঘাটে কুহ কেবে গো তুমে আসিব ঘাটে কুহ তুটাই দেই সবু বন্ধন মোহ তুটাই দেই সবু বন্ধন মোহ অস্তর বীর শেষ আলোক পরি নিশিথ বুকে নিরুদ্দেশে নিশিথে তরি জীবা গো ভাসি ভাসি কথা ଥିଲା ଏକ নৌকারে তুমে ମୁଁ বসি ଯିବା କାରଣେ ଏମିତି ତ ଭାସି ଭାସି Thank you.
Excellent rendition. Thank you, Kasturika. And
Thank you.
I would like to read some of the messages which have come. Wow, from Moma Shen. There was a heart sign and excellent sign from Smita. She's my classmate. She's here. Excellent singing,
Okay.
wonderful, strong, controlled voice. Thank you. This again is from Smita. Over to you. Over
Thank
to
you
you.
so much, Dada. It's always my pleasure.
Same here.
Thank you.
The second poem which I want to read is about the moonlit night.
Kasturika, we'll have to
Can
stop.
I stop here and then maybe repeat it in the...
Maybe later if we have time, we will have
Yeah.
it. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Please mute me.
You can just press the mic button. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Kasturika ji. As you were singing, it felt as if one was transported to a riverside on a boat, and you're having those conversations, trying to convince the other person to pay heed to what you have to say. And every time you say kotha, it has that special, special weightage to what the next stanza holds for the listener. Thank you once again for this beautiful rendition. You are on mute, Kasturika ji.
I'm saying please thank Dr. Antajami Mishra also, who is on our panel now and who has beautifully translated the poem.
We thank
And
Dr. Antaryami Mishra, but I think he has left. However, please convey our message to him. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for that beautiful translation. And thank you, Kasturika ji, for that rendition that really enthralled all of us that are present here this evening. With that, we have completed one part of the circle of this evening, and we move on to the next part of our circle. We come back to our chief guest of the evening, Dr. Devdutt. Dr. Devdutt, are you able to hear us? And come back on, unmute yourself and come back on.
Yeah.
So Dr. Devdutt
Can you
will
hear me?
now, yes, we can hear you,
Yes.
sir. Dr. Devdutt will now render two of his two poems titled Geetanjali to Shraddhanjali and Candles. If you could recite one of the two poems, sir, right now,
Sure.
and we could
I know
get
the
back to
time constraint. Yeah.
Yes,
Know the
yes,
time constraints and all that. Yeah.
Sure.
No issue.
Thank you.
So first of all, I would like to show you my collection of Geetanjali, the original copy of Geetanjali, right? It's of 1949 edition, and introduction by W.B. Yeats, and the original publication was in 1912, and in 1913 he got the Nobel Prize for this. You say, I got this. I don't know. One of my friends gifted me this. Yeah. Okay. Now we will come to my poem, Geetanjali to Shraddhanjali. Geetanjali is originally, I meant of this Geetanjali only. And Shraddhanjali means the present status of woman, the happenings nowadays. There is no respect for woman and all that by some anti-socials and all that, So here you taught us to keep, I am referring to Tagore. You taught us to keep our heads high and feel the freedom. The girls once you dreamt of giving independence are now frightened of freedom. They can't look up into the eyes of passing men. Men stare to eat with a thirst overloaded in looks. Many of the women nowadays feel like that. Many a men live with infected brains, power-starving leaders, oblivious, blind to see the girls with bleeding heart. That's the point. Very short point. I have tried to just convey a feel of present girls, teenage girls, those who are being different. They have to pass through different type of situations. So that's it.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
And it's
Thank
quite relevant with the terrible incident that happened in Kolkata So it's all the more relevant. Thank you. Over to Saranya.
Thank you, Dr. Dutt, one more time for having spoken about the gaze. I'm sure all the academicians here would have also felt that, the concept of the gaze that we always speak about in gender studies and feminist studies, about how it is not just uncomfortable, it is also somehow gives us that creepy feeling of um, being unsafe even in your own country, own land. Thank you once again for that poignant poem. We now turn to Sri Shankar Sen to speak to us once again through his Bengali poem inspired by Tagore, Kobiman. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Saranya. Yes, this is my poem from my first book, Sankho Manjari, published by Hawajan. And it's written in Bengali, so I'll also read in Bengali. Later on, I'll give a gist of the poem. Kobi Mon. Momo হৃদয়ে তুমি থাকো কবি, বিরল তোমার ব্যক্তিত্বের ছবি, কল্পনার বন্ধনে পারিনি তারে ভাবতে, আজীবন চারে বয়ে চললাম চলতে ফিরতে। ভ্রমের ছায়ায় তুমি রবে অন্তহীন, ক্ষমার আশায় কাটবে হিতাহিতের দিন। যদি আসো তুমি কভু কবিতার মালা গেঁথে, মম আত্মরূপ নেবে সে উপহার দু হাত পেতে। বিস্তারিত এই আলোক সাগরে ভাসবো আমি তোমারই স্রোতেতে, গাইব আমি, বইব আমি তোমারই ভাবে হাওয়াতে। ক্ষণিকের মায়াতে যদি হয় মন বিচলিত, কবিতার প্রণয় বাঁধবে মোড়ে বিস্তারিত। জীবন যুদ্ধের আশা তুমি, বাস্তব স্বপ্নের প্রদীপ তুমি, ভিজুক অশ্রু জ্বলুক অনুরতি, ভাসুক আশা তোমার লেখারি জোরে। কবি মন তুমি, আজীবন থেকো মম হৃদ মাজারে। ধন্যবাদ। Thank you.
Bah, চমৎকার কবিতা, a beautiful poem. Over
Thank
to you,
you.
Saranya.
So,
Thanks.
I think most of us have understood. I think for someone who doesn't understand Bengali, maybe I can give a small.
Yeah. We will love to hear.
Very short, in a couple of sentences. Thank you.
Very shortly, it's like my inspiration from Tagore, how I have actually separated myself with the mind, the poet mind. So I have actually explained that with different imaginations about how my poetic mind have traveled and got inspired from him. So at the end, I have also poetically explained that all the emotions which has helped me to develop this poetic mind inspired by him. And at the end, I said that Ajibon Theko Mamo Hrid Majare, that means that he will always stay at the bottom of my heart. So this is my offering to Tagore.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Shankar.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shankoda, for that beautiful rendition. And I couldn't help but wonder at how beautifully simple and simply beautiful your poem was. Because even to somebody who who follows the language in a very limited capacity, I could understand the beauty with which you are talking to the poet and talking about how his words are like a stroll in the garden, and I was thinking to myself how we will never be able to translate that image to English effectively enough, of how when you say that you're walking across, you're walking slowly across the garden from here to there. That is an expression that is unique to our languages and ethos. Thank you so much once again for that beautiful poem.
Thank you.
We will now move on to Dr. Renu Gupta. Dr. Renu Gupta will be reading her poem Encounters on Palolem Beach. And her poem is inspired by Tagore's poems on nature. Over to you, ma'am.
Thanks, dear Saranya, and fellow delegates for making me more curious to delve into, the works of Tagore. And moreover, I must acknowledge, some delegates who spoke in some other languages which I could not understand. But, the rhythm, the lyrical beauty that, is just, wonderful. And that makes you understand, the spirit of the songs. Thank you. So this is my poem, Encounters on the Palolem Beach. This is a long poem, but I will present a trimmed version. I have tried to. So this poem is composed against the backdrop of the Palolem Beach, one of the most scenic beaches in Goa. The poem draws its inspiration from Tagore's nature poems and his songs like The Golden Boat, The Home, on the nature of love for the scenic sites, which I have tried to explain, and also tries to imbibe some of the humanistic spirit of Tagore. So here goes my poem. Sitting gleefully on Palolem Beach, one springy morning, I beheld its breezy ends splashing from its center, marveling at and bonding with one of the wonders of Mother Nature. I savored the splendid sight of the crescent shape of its beach, satiating my spirits on the joy of its jutting stony rocks. I fed my eyes upon the lovely sight of the sun melting into the sea. But, oh, to my horror, I saw the serene climes suddenly changing their hues. The gentle breeze howling, the calm waves growling, the smiling sun scowling, and the still rocks prowling. In my trembling thoughts, I thought of the humanity, their pangs untold, their pains unhealed, their labors unheard, and their loves unresponded. All this brought tears to my eyes, and I wondered, is this the destiny of us all? But somehow, the very next moment, I could see a glimmer of light flashing above the rough seas. This revived my faith and kindled my pride in being human, and I counted our uncounted blessings of our instinct for survival, our ability for revival, and above all, our hope perennial, for having kept our lives going, our civilizations flourishing. I wondered, was it a chain of my illusions, or was Mother Nature teaching me some lessons for the precious lesson through the succession of encounters on the Palolem Beach? Thank you, dears. So since, I missed
Thank
some
you,
lines
Renuji.
which might have, acted as connecting, but still I
It
tried.
does. Thank you very much. Lovely nature poem.
Thank you.
Saranya, we'll have to speed it up also. I'm sorry, because we are running out of time. So over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Renu Gupta. I was particularly struck by the word still rocks prowling. The way she said the still rocks are prowling. I think that ironic usage was pretty representative of the entire poem's personality. Thank you once again. We now move on to our next guest of honor, Sri Sridharan Parakud. He will be reading a poem to us as well. Just give me a moment, please. Yes, thank you. Sri Sridharan will be reading a poem which is a lullaby inspired by Tagore. Over to you, sir.
Am I audible, Ji? Yeah. Okay. Lullaby. Mother pours songs of different genres into innocent ears. Mother pours songs of different genres into innocent ears. The child, listening to the music, slipped into dreams of myriad forms. The child, listening to the music, slipped into dreams of myriad forms. It has stories of the prince and princess, forest and wild animals, father and daughter, etc., in a musical style. It has stories of the prince and princess, forest and wild animals, father and daughter, etc., in a musical style. Story of the child who is a seller of dreams, interested in boat races. Everything is given in enthusiastic tunes. Story of the child who is a seller of dreams, interested in boat races. Everything is given in enthusiastic tunes. Enjoying the fascinating music in childhood, the child grows into a responsible person of the society. Enjoying the fascinating music in the childhood, the child grows into a responsible person of the society. Thank you. Thank you very much.
For the lovely poem.
Yeah.
Over to you, Saranya.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for reminding us of childhood days and carefree times when we could actually listen to stories and be inspired by them. I don't think that's a scene or sight that you get to see anymore in households. These days, we can only say we wish those days come back. Thank you once again for that beautiful poem. We now move on to Maua Sen. Maua Sen will be reading a poem composed by her, inspired by Rabindranath Tagore's woman protagonist, Charulata, from the story Nashtanir. Over to you.
Hi. So my poem is Charulata from the story Noshtunir, The Broken Nest. My heart finds a sojourn under your wings. My heart finds a sojourn under your wings. Drinking zephyr from the chalice of divinity. We weave rainbow wreaths with the petals of silence. Filching a piece of sun, we decorate warmth in our lives. We illumine the photic spots of our being with the beating of our hearts. I swaddle truth. I swaddle truth with my pink pashmina and stack it in my old almirah as I live the moment with you. Bidding adieu to the unsettling thoughts of the morrow. I shun the societal shackles that bind my ribcage, for my heart behind it wanders free. I unbridle my soul. I unbridle my soul from rigid confinement. I bear it. I bear it in front of you as I sink in your arms, drenched in your love. The soft murmur of your breaths fill my heart with joy, and I blossom like the malati flowers in my front yard. Oft I rest under the bough of the banyan tree, listening to the quiver of my own heartbeats as they croon your name on a loop. Gazing at the blue tent, I welcome eventide, decked in an orange veil as the darkness reveals my soul's sacred nakedness. Tonight, again I'll accompany the straying moonbeams. Following the liquid burble of the river, I'll find my way back to you. I know your presence in my life is impermanent. One day, you'll untether yourself to belong to someone else, freeing yourself from the quilted warmth that you and I have felt in each other's embrace. Warmth is percussive. Warmth is percussive. We melt in the flame of our yearning souls, stirring the stillness in our ruptured psyche. Let not the world cavil at anything you choose. Don't you worry about me, for I'll cassette and hoard the memories in my bosom forevermore. I'll wait for a time. I'll wait for a time when there will be no computation of rights and wrongs, when the impish rain would dance in wild glee, blowing its bagpipes in my veranda, and the flowers will adorn their best attire in pinks and reds, yellows and violets. That day, I'll borrow the dewdrops from the irises of the morn. That day, I'll borrow the dewdrops from the irises of the morn to make a necklace of white pearls to bedeck my ivory neck just for you. Like the day meets the night, we'll meet someday in the glade of our blue empyrean. Clutching infinity in your fist, you would sing to me in your clear tremble voice as we would sing in the dusk of our dulcet dreams. Thank you.
What a beautiful poem. Thank you, Mova.
Thank you.
Beautiful,
Saranya.
Mova.
Thank you so
Very-
much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mawa, for that there's one image that stood out for me, which is swaddled truth with my pink pashmina. There is so much in that line where you were talking about swaddling, and it's a pink pashmina. It's not a swaddle cloth. It's not a rag piece, but it's a pink pashmina. That in itself is reminding us of that.
Kind of signifies merriment, right? So it's
Absolutely. And
exuberant.
pashmina, of course, the luxury of
The warmth.
the warmth and the luxury of truth, even
Yes.
to be able to say the luxury truth is a luxurious thing. So thank you once again for that beautiful and image rich, image heady, image rich poem
Thank you.
this evening. We move on to our next rendition. Kusturika Di, we are waiting for you to sing the second Odia poem to us. And enthrall us again with the poem.
Okay. Mhm. This is a more amorous in feelings. I think that Tagore is known for his subtle take on amorous activities, and this is that while in this moonlit night, when we are coming closer to each other, our hearts are speaking to each other, and then I'm not getting enough courage to to tell you that how I miss you and how badly I want you in my life. So here it goes. This is again translated by Dr. Mishra. I'm indeed indebted to him for writing such beautiful lines. Hey, Shoshana, Rate jagi chimo prana. Hi, Shoshana, Rate jagi chimo prana. तुम्हारी पास मिलिब के गो स्थान हे जोछना राते जागिছি মো প্রাণ পারিব দেখি অপূর্ব সেই রহিব চাহি হৃদয় উৎকণ্ঠিত বারবার সে চরণ চৌপাশে ভ্রমিব মোরা অশ্রুঝ জোছনা রাতে জাগিছি মো প্রাণ তোমারি বাসে মিলিব কি গো ছানা সাহস করি নিজে মুনাই পারে বসিবা পাই তুমরি পাদ তଳେ ভূমিরে রাখি নয়ন ভূমিরে রাখি নয়ন মনতা ফেরাই পছে দিয়া গো মোরা না না এই জোছনা রাতে জাগিছি মো প্রাণ তোমারি পাশে মিলিব কি স্থান এই জোছনায় ha 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 এই জোছনায় la la thank you.
Beautiful. Saranya.
Thank you once again for it felt like it felt like the original mull cloths from the land of the Babus of Noyanjor coming and brushing you and caressing you on a
Yes.
beautiful evening like that. Thank you once again for bringing out that subtlety of the suggestions that Tagore makes in his writings so beautifully. With the permission of the chair, I would like to, before I invite our chief guest to release his book, which is the next launch his book, which is the next part of the evening, since we have Dr. Dutt and Sri Sridharan with us as well, and Dr. Maury Joseph, I take the privilege of, take the liberty of sharing this little clipping that I wanted to share as the closing part of our evening before the launch, as well as the word of thanks. This is a beautiful piece called. It is titled Charulata. It is written and scripted by a very bold and very aesthetically talented director called Shruti Sharanyam from Cochin, Kerala, and she has reinterpreted Charulata in her own imagination. And there is this particular part of the clipping that I would like to present, which I thought is an amalgamation of all the thoughts that we shared this evening. So this will take less than a minute. I will cut the clipping right at when I want it to stop. So I request you to indulge me for that 1 minute when I will share this as an amalgamation of what we have shared this evening.
Sure, Saranya. We are eager to hear.
Sure. No issue.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I will be sharing my screen. I hope. Are we able to see the screen? Are you
Not
able to
yet.
see, Char?
No, not yet.
Yet, okay.
You have to change your position also.
All right.
No,
Okay.
it's in landscape.
Okay. I'll do that right away. Did that help?
No, not as yet.
Not as yet. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to try one more time.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Now you can only see. You can't see the screen. Okay, just give me a. Is it visible now?
Yeah, no, not yet.
Can anybody see the screen projected?
No.
We
Okay.
just see your
Okay.
name.
You just see?
Yeah, your name, nothing else.
Okay. Okay. So then I will just skip it because I think there is a glitch that I'm not aware of.
Can,
This is,
can,
I
can,
will
can
share a
you
URL.
can you go
Yeah.
to the video directly from here?
Rather, can you share it from your end?
What should I share? Share the screen?
Yeah, I will share the link with you.
Okay.
If you can play it on your laptop and share it.
Okay. Can you please send it to me?
Yeah, I've shared it with you. It's there on your chat window.
Okay.
If you can play it and then share screen.
I'm trying to play it.
Okay.
Okay, just a minute. I'll just come back there and
Click. Yeah.
yeah. Just a minute.
Sure.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Is this the one? It's not playing. Something gone wrong. Wait.
Not able to see it.
I can see the screen, but I can't.
Dada, you have to come back to Zoom and share screen.
Wait. I'm doing just this. I've come to Zoom. I'm
Share.
Screen. Yeah, I did that.
When it says share, can you click on share a window? It will say share a window.
No, it is not saying share a window.
Okay, what does it say?
Share. Okay, share again. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so now on your audio, the place where your mute button is there.
Just a minute. Where have I kept that thing? Wait. I can't seem to find it. Saranya. I think I can't find it. I mean, something has gone wrong.
What are you not able to find, Dada?
The video that you shared.
Okay.
Because I was clicking the link and I didn't download it possibly.
No, you don't have to download it. It's the YouTube link.
Okay.
So it's open in a window on your computer. You have to say share screen.
I've done that. Already done that. I'm trying to find which window is it gone to.
Chrome.
Okay. I think I can
YouTube right next to that.
Yeah. I can find it. Yeah. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yeah.
You will have to go to
no, this is playing something else. Yeah.
it is the same thing. You have to can you scroll to 221?
221. Okay. Just a minute.
Yes. Right from there. Yes. That's okay. Right from there.
Yeah. Okay.
Not next. You went to the next video, Dada.
Oh. Okay.
Go back to right up there.
Sorry.
There's Charulata on your right hand side, top corner.
Top corner where? Okay, here.
You're right. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Again, I'll put it to
21. I'm so sorry. I wish I was in my laptop. It would have been easier.
No, it's okay. It's suddenly very slow. Wait a minute.
Okay, it's okay.
It's buffering, I believe. Okay.
Yeah.
221, you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
And play. Dada, can you just pause the video for a moment? Yeah. And on your Zoom screen, where your audio mic icon is.
Yeah. Wait.
You will see. Yeah.
Where do I come to my Zoom screen? Wait.
It'll be either on your right hand top corner, left hand bottom Zoom icon.
You can't see the Zoom icon. It says mute here. You can't
If
hear
you
it.
click on the arrow, if you click on the arrow next to mute,
Arrow next to mute. There is a
share computer sound.
Stop video, make my audio, blur my background. No,
That is video. That is video. You're looking in the video screen. You have to look at it.
Okay.
Perfect.
Now
Perfect.
it is working? Okay.
Yes, it's working. Yes, it's working. Just that's it. Dada, you can pause and stop sharing screen.
Okay, thank you.
Stop and go back. Yes, thank you. So in this particular video, it is a reinterpretation of Charulata, and she talks about how the two lovers or the two friends are realizing that they're not able to find out where one ends and the other begins, where the ripples of the heart stop and the actual poetry merges. So I think this evening is a result of that kind of a feeling itself, which is described in Mugileya Edire. So it is this beautiful feeling of us not knowing where Tagore's influence ends and our own inspiration begins. And this evening has been a testament to the ripples of the heart reaching out to each other. Thank you so much for all your poems. I now invite Dr. Dutt.
Yeah.
I invite Dr. Dutt to release to the world, launch to the world, his book, Whispers of a Logophile, Lover of Words. The book has 50 soulful poems, and these poems are representative of all the experiences that are a part of the personality of Dr. Devdutt. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Sharanya. I would like to launch my book in the presence of the esteemed delegates. So this is my book, Whispers of the Logophile. Can you see?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah. So this has been published by Authors Press, New Delhi, Sudarshan Kechri, and this book, this is my debut book, because I have been writing since my youth, while in college and all that, and all was kept in a file and all that somewhere. Now, after retirement, I got it compiled and brought onto a book. It's a mixture. It's a collage of all the human happiness, suffering, love for nature, old age, and an entire thing is covering of an human being in this, from the childhood, from the youth romance to the old age. Each poem depicts that. So my first poem in this book is Behind the Wall. It's about a blooming love between two hearts. I would like to read that poem. And before that, I want to, there are few illustrations for every poem.
Lovely.
Yeah, in every poem. And that it's an actually, this is a family book for me, because the illustrations is done by my daughter-in-law, and the foreword is written by my sister, who is an educationist. In now she is posted Delhi Public School, Raipur. She has done the preface for that. And some of the illustrations is done by my wife, my son, and all that. It's a family book. And this book is dedicated to my grandparents, who were very close to my heart. Parents and parent-in-laws, all four of them left in the year 21-22 in the COVID breakout, leaving a big vacuum in life. Hope you all are watching from some unknown horizon of this universe. After the phase of deep agony, God blessed with us an angel, our granddaughter, Ira. After that, again, with that little child, our life started again blooming from the childhood and all that with her. So there are 50 soulful poems, and this book is available on Amazon. My first poem is Behind the Wall. It's a romantic poem about a blooming love between two hearts. They are in the rains, soaked under the sky. We stood at the backyard wall, hiding from people around, caressing our love in the rain, because they are loving and they are some hiding themselves behind a wall. Droplets boiled between our bodies and struggled to survive, finally slipping to ground below. Our love deepened in rains. Ice wrote lyrics, scribbling untold lines on lips. Only you and me, keeping the treasure of love safe in each droplet of rain falling between us. This is the poem, first poem. And every poem is very short. I believe the poetry should be reachable to every person, not only the intellectuals. So that poetry survives in the new generation and all that. So I have written it very simply, and which will find places in every heart. So like that, there are 50 poems. Thank you, Arindam ji, for releasing the poem, for giving me a launching pad for my book. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Dutt. It was beautiful to listen to you, and that dedication was definitely something that touched all our hearts, because I think all our personalities are designed by our grandparents and our ancestors. And it was so beautiful to hear you say how the book is a family book, and that all of you in the family have contributed to its fulfillment. And it's such an endearing thing to.
Aranya, we can leave the session open for a few question answers.
Sure,
if anybody has anything to ask or suggest or say, very brief questions and very brief answers. Yes, it was very interesting that the illustrations have been done by your family members, your daughter-in-law, your son, your wife, and the foreword has been written by your sister. So it's totally a family affair, and your dedication also goes to your family. So other than that, anyone wants to say or add or suggest anything, ask anything, please feel free. Very short questions and very short answers. Over to you.
Participants may unmute themselves and respond, react.
Yeah, please unmute and question. Yeah.
Yes, I would like to ask how this idea of collaborating it within the family, right, come to your mind, and how did it work? Because it
Yeah,
might
actually,
inspire some of us, like to go for such family projects, I would say.
yeah. Actually, our family has a good background of and have artists. And one of my cousin, he's a leading. He is no more now. He's a leading film actor in Kerala. His name is Nedumudi Venu. He's no more now. He's a national award holder also. He's my cousin. And
Big
so we
fan.
have, yeah,
Big fan.
yeah, he's my cousin. And we have a legacy of dramatists and artists, everybody. So my daughter-in-law is a Gujarati from a Gujarati family, and my son, they are based at Pune. So she also is into art. My son is into the animation and filmmaking. So he is now a production manager in Lakshya Digital, a gaming company. So my wife is a very good pencil sketch artist. So entire thing worked out. So I didn't, I was not, it was not necessary me to go outside and collect the sketches and all that. So everything was available here. And uh, my brothers, sisters are well placed in USA and well educated. My father actually in 1956 came to Bhilai from Kerala without slippers. So from there, he started his journey and brought up all of us to a good platform and gave us to fly into this bird. Yeah, that's it.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
Your family reminds me of Tagore's family, where within the family, everybody was talented, extremely talented, and in various fields. Of course, Tagore epitomized almost everybody's talent. He was a singer, he was a poet, he was a painter, a rather artist, and there's hardly any field he did not venture into. So, yeah, a glimpse of Tagore's family is what we get in your family also.
And
Any
I'm
more
fortunate that
questions? Any more
and
questions
I'm
from anyone?
and I'm fortunate that I have the same day of birth with Tagore.
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
interesting.
yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah.
Anybody else? Yeah, Sridharanji. Okay. Now we can end the session and we fourth round where we could hear Shanko. Shanko, if you are here, we could hear you play your guitar for us. Shanko.
Yeah, I have given the video, so can you play that video? You're mute. You're mute, Arindam. Please
Oh, I
unmute.
started. So you see, Chonko, Saranya's laptop is not working. She's, working from her mobile. So that's why I shared it for her. If you are on a laptop or something, please, you can play it right. You can do the share screen and share it with us directly. So that would save
Okay,
us a lot of trouble.
let me just think. Okay.
Sankada, do you have it
I'll,
on your desktop? Do you have the video on your desktop?
I'll open it from my email, which I sent to you
Yes.
to
Arinamda, yes.
Okay.
Nanda. Maybe I can play it. Let's see. I was not prepared. I thought that it will be played.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
I
I
thought
think
you will be
that's
playing the guitar live for us. Anyway, I'm so sorry.
I think
Okay.
that's
It's
is
in
Live.
my
that a
mail
track
also.
along with it?
Mr.
Shankuda,
Sen
is
has
it a video? Is a video of a track? Is it a track?
Yeah, it is
this
actually a
mail also.
made and which was like with audio and video both.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Let me just see. Okay, I got the video. Let's see if I can play it here.
Are you comfortable sharing your screen?
Yeah, first let me open the video, then I'll share the screen.
Yes, please.
Maybe you can, in the meantime, share some poem or whoever is interested.
No, we have come to the end almost.
Can
Everything is
see.
over. Kasturika Mishra, if you're there, can we have your poem for the round 2 that was there? If you can
The
listen
English
to
one.
your poem. Kasturika Mishra, can you hear us? Hello? Hello. I'll call her. I'll call her. I'll just mute myself and call her.
Sharanya, that video is in my mail also. He has addressed to me
Sir,
also. that mail.
okay. Could you share your screen in that
So
case?
what should I do? What should I do?
Just open the video, sir.
Just a moment. It's in the mail.
So can you
He's
see my
able to
video?
share. He's able to share. Shankarda is able to share.
Can you
Okay,
see my video?
Yes, we can.
Okay. You gave a tip of sharing the audio also, right?
Yes. Could you just click on the arrow that is there next to your mute button? Your mic, the mic button on your left bottom of the screen.
Yeah, same as speaker, same as system, no?
Yes,
Select.
same as the speaker, yes. If you click on that, it will say share computer audio.
I have selected that same as system speaker audio.
Yes, perfect. Perfect.
So let's try, yeah?
Yes.
Can be heard?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear it.
I have actually arranged this music in keyboard and guitar. Thank you.
Thank you, Shankar. I only wish we could have heard it in person and
Yes,
live someday.
Sure. I will maybe in the next show I'll do that.
Yeah. I was trying to call Kasturika. I tried to call her. There was no response. I don't know if she's there. Kasturika. Anyway, let's now end the whole thing. It's pretty late. It's over 2 hours now. So, Saranya, I'm now proposing the vote of thanks.
Yes, Deva, please do.
Okay. Thank you, everyone who has been present here. It was a very enchanting, a lively evening, beginning with Devdutt, with Renuji, with Shankar Sen. We had Sridharanji, Kasturika ji, Mahua. Mahua, I can't see you. Where are you? Okay, here you are. By the way, I should tell you that one of the anthologies that we brought out, Mahua was in the editorial board. The anthology was Love and Longings. I think I have the book somewhere here. Okay.
Oh, yeah. The book's here, I guess, somewhere.
Yeah. So anyway, I did keep it ready. So
Yeah.
maybe you'll have to wait for some
That's
other
a
time.
beautiful book.
Okay.
Beautiful
Yeah.
book.
She was a very much a part of the editorial team, and it has been wonderful talking to all of you, listening to you, and this varied, sources telling us many points of views. And this is what is the beauty of Shantiniketan Literature Festival rather, that we could expand the horizon, and every day we are learning something new. Every moment we are learning something new.
Right.
That was very, very wonderful. And thanks for enriching each one of you. We look forward to more such meeting. And those who are online, some of you, please come over and be with us in Shantiniketan, experience Shantiniketan for yourself. I'm sure you can do that next year or whenever you're free. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Saranya, and bye.
Thank you, Arindam.
Thank you, Arindra. Thank you so much.
Thank
See you all again soon. Thank you.
Okay, I'm now ending the show, and thanks once again. Bye. Good night.
Good night.